Hello there, and welcome to the Extra Slice podcast. Today's topic is going to be about Pokemon, but we'll get into that later. I am your host, Colin, and let's get this started. First thing on the docket I want to go over is some video games coming out this week. All right, there's a lot of them, so bear with me here. All right, we have something called Grave Seasons coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch on August 14th. You have The Defender of the Crown, The Legend Returns for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch on August 13th. Then we have Duskfade coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch 2 on August 13th. A game called Hell Let Loose Vietnam on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X coming out August 13th. Then we have Madden NFL 27 coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch 2 coming out August 13th. A game called Memoriam, just coming out on PC, August 13th. A game called Revenge on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, coming out August 13th. And I'm going to mispronounce this one, Skate Steer, coming out, Skate Steer, I'm butchering that, coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch 2 on August 13th. We're almost there. A game called Agefield High, Rock the School, coming out on PC on August 12th. A game called Agent 64, Spies Never Die, coming out on PC, coming out August 11th. That's today. And a game called The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Remastered on Nintendo Switch 2, coming out today, August 11th. And that is the huge list of games coming out. But only two of them are piquing my interest, or at least my knowledge. A lot of them are just gibberish and rubbish. And the first one that stands out to me is one I've been waiting for a long time, and that is a game called Duskfade. All right, this is an indie game, and it's meant to look like the old PlayStation 2 platforming games such as Jak and Daxter and Kingdom Hearts and Ratchet and Clank, any of those games, those old PS2 games, those platforming games. That this is what this indie game is. I believe that's what they're trying to go for, and I have been waiting for this. I think for as long as it's been announced, I have been intrigued, and I've really wanted to play this game. So I am going to hopefully stream it on Thursday when it comes out, August 13th, I believe is the day. And I'm going to play that game, all right, as much as I can because it looks really fun. Hopefully it's a good game. I'm hoping it's a good game. It looks really fun. And it is an indie game, which doesn't mean it's going to be bad or anything. I've enjoyed a lot of indie games, and this one I'm looking forward to. I'll probably get it on Steam, but if it had a physical release, I would get it for Switch 2. Sadly, I believe it's only digital, to my knowledge. The other game that kind of stands out, not really, is Elder Scrolls Oblivion for the Switch 2, the Switch 2 remaster. I'm not the biggest Elder Scrolls fan. I mean, I've only ever played Skyrim on my Xbox 360 many, many years ago. I don't know how long. It was a long time ago. And I do remember playing for hours in Skyrim. I remember one day I was playing, I think, for 8 hours straight or longer. It was that addicting, that fun. However, I don't know if I accomplished anything in that game. I don't remember much. I just remember wandering through the wilderness, through the world, trying to, I guess, do side quests. I don't know if I progressed the story or anything. It was overwhelming. So overwhelming that I put it down. I have not picked it up since. But it was fun. What I did play. It was really fun when I played. And this one, I believe I've heard Oblivion is a lot of people's favorites. And now it's being remastered for Switch 2. And I believe it has a physical release. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it has a physical release, which is awesome. But I'm not going to get it. Yeah. If I see it somewhere on sale and it's physical, I might get it. But honestly, I really do not care for it, which is kind of sad. But those are the only two games that stood out to me on the entire list. Just Duskfade and Oblivion, and Duskfade is honestly the only game I care about, and I'm really excited for Duskfade coming out on August 13th for, I think, every system. Yeah, every system. That's awesome. All right, but now I want to transition into some games I've been playing, and there's 3 on my list, and one of them is a repeat, but that's fine. The first on the docket is Splatoon Raiders. I think this might be my last week talking about it. I've talked about it, I think, the past few weeks in a row. And I don't want to repeat what I've said before, so I'm trying to say something new. I finally got an opportunity to try out the multiplayer with some people for Raiders, and it makes the post-game grind so much more enjoyable. If you didn't know, I was starting to feel not bummed out, but I was starting to feel a fatigue when it came to Splatoon Raiders after the game. Like once you beat, like going through the main game, it's fun. Like I didn't feel bored at all. It felt great. It was like, I just want to keep going. After the main game, the post game, it got daunting. I felt, like I don't want to keep going. I don't want to do this anymore. And I kind of had to like force myself to keep going and stream it. But I did get, the other night I played with some friends and some other people, and it was just a blast. It was so good. All right, you have such a fun time together. And I learned all about the Booyah thing, if you know what that is. All right, but this will probably be the last time I talk about Splatoon Raiders. I think I've checked out. I mean, not checked out. I think I've had my fill. I might go back to it once in a while if my friends still want to play it. But I think I've had my fill. And I don't know if I'll stream it anymore. But I've had a great time playing Splatoon Raiders. Because this might be my last time talking about it, here's what I'll say. Get this game. It is really fun, and it's super addicting in a good way. And playing with your friends makes it even better. All right? So hopefully I get to keep playing with my friends. Hopefully we can keep doing that if they want to. If not, I understand. Because, again, I feel the fatigue, and I'm wondering if other people are feeling the fatigue. If you're feeling fatigue from Splatoon Raiders, let me know in the comments below. Or, just let me know if you're feeling any fatigue, because I know I did. Still am a little bit. The next game I played is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Or is it Spirits? Fighting something. I always get them mixed up. I got this for Steam when it came out last week, and all I can say that it is a fun game. It's a fun game, and I have terrible skills at the game, so I am not very good at it. But again, honestly, it's a really fun game, Marvel Tokon. It's developed by Arc System Works, ArcSys. People call them as ArcSys. They put a lot of work and love into this game to make it fun and enjoyable for fighting game fans and Marvel fans. I only played the story mode so far. At the time of this recording this podcast, I've only played the story modes, and I really enjoyed them. And each there's it's called episode mode. I believe there's 5 different episodes, and each episode is done by a different artist, and I think it's really cool. And the stories are pretty good too. It's just little comic panels. It's not too much, but it kind of goes in depth sometimes. Like it's kind of like deep and really cool. But that's all I've played. I haven't played any online, so I've played through the story modes, and even in that. I was getting pummeled by the low-level AI. Like level 3, level 4, I was having such a hard time with that. So I felt pretty discouraged and haven't really tried online yet. Because again, I've only done the story mode, so I haven't gone online because I feel like I'm just going to get decimated online. But I've also heard that online for the PC wasn't very good and that it needs to be updated. So that's also a factor for not me wanting to play online just yet, is I don't want to have online issues, but I really just... It's a fun game. I'm just terrible at it. It's the same developers who did Dragon Ball FighterZ or FighterZ, and I really like that game. I'm also terrible. I have terrible skills in that game, but it's really fun. But nevertheless, Marvel Tokon is a really fun game if you enjoy fighting games. It's really fun, and I definitely think it'll become a very competitive fighting game. It's going to be here for a while. There's going to be some DLC characters. I think that right now the first one is Cyclops, and then there's 3 more after that. Right now, there's a roster of 20 characters in the game, but I think there's a little more. Well, it could be 20. I don't know, but there's gonna be DLC coming for this game, and I hope they keep adding DLC after that. There's so many Marvel characters. Add as many as you can in this game, but I understand how much work it probably. I don't understand, but I do understand that it does take a lot of work to make these characters. I know for Dragon Ball FighterZ, they're very there's a lot of repeat characters because it's different Gokus and all that. But it does take a lot of work to make them unique and have their own fighting style and gameplay. So it takes a lot of work. All right, the final game I want to talk about. I guess I'll stay specific. It is Pokemon Violet. We might have talked about this in the past episode. I can't remember. But I want to talk about something called shiny hunting. Over the past few days, I have been shiny hunting in Pokemon Violet. And if you don't know what shiny Pokemon are, it's just a different color scheme of the same Pokemon. For example, Charizard is normally in orange-reddish color, kind of more orange. It's hard to remember. I'm pretty more orangish. But his shiny version is more of a black-gray color. More black. It used to be kind of a darker black, now it's more like light black, dark gray. But each Pokemon in the game, in the whole series, has their own shiny variant. A slightly different color or a completely different color. And they used to be super hard to come by. It used to be really hard to find shinies. All right, and this is a little history, I guess, but shiny Pokemon were first introduced back on Gold and Silver on Game Boy Color and here are the odds. The odds were 1 in 8,192 for finding a shiny Pokemon, which means like you have to go battle over 8,000 Pokemon to have a chance of maybe encountering one shiny Pokemon. It's nuts. They're very rare. So over the course of new Pokemon games, as Pokemon games have come out over the years, the odds have been lowered, or I guess increased, to make it easier or less strenuous to find shinies. And also different methods have been discovered to help find shiny Pokemon. I'm going to go over some of the methods. I don't know all of them. But originally, the method to find a shiny Pokemon is just to get luck. Get lucky, scouring, just battle Pokemon consistently, and maybe you'll find a shiny. Maybe. But one of the first ones I remember being discovered was something called the Masuda method, which is where you'd have to get Pokemon from 2 different real-world countries or regions. So trade in Pokemon from around the world, and you put them in the daycare, and as you know, if you play Pokemon, same Pokemon, in the daycare can create eggs sometimes, or with a Ditto. They make eggs, and those eggs have a higher chance of being shiny. But you don't know until you hatch the egg. All right, that's called the Masuda method. And in Gen 4, another method was, I believe it's called the PokeRadar method, where you have to meet certain Pokemon 30 times in a row. So if you want, I guess, like a shiny, I don't know, let's go with a shiny Shinx. You have to use the PokeRadar to meet a Shinx 30 times in a row without interruption. And it's super stressful to do this method, but you can get a shiny this way in Diamond and Pearl, and I think also in Platinum, and the remakes. My first introduction to shiny hunting was in X and Y with something called fish chaining, the fish chaining method. And the idea is to keep reeling in Pokemon, keep fishing with no mistakes. Like, you can't miss a Pokemon. Like, if it gets away, your chain's broken. You have to keep reeling in Pokemon. You don't have to catch them. I think you can, I don't know if running away works, but I think you can either catch them, beat them, maybe run away. But the more you reel in, the higher chance they become a shiny. And I believe that this was my first shiny from this method. And it was either a Politoed or a Poliwhirl. And I evolved that all the way to a Poliwrath. That was, I think, my first shiny Pokemon ever that I caught, legitly. Besides, I'm not talking about Gyarados from Gen 2. But you can also get lucky with something called a mass encounter, where 5 Pokemon show up. So you have a higher chance because you're meeting 5 Pokemon at the same time. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there's also some useful methods that I can't remember the specifics. But I believe you use something called the DexNav, which would, I think it's similar to the PokeRadar, to where you have a higher chance of using the DexNav to create a chain and find a Pokemon, and it becomes shiny. Very similar to Diamond and Pearl. In Sun and Moon, there was a great method called SOS chaining. Now, SOS, you might know, means you're calling for help. This means that a Pokemon that you're battling out in the wild would call for help, and there'd be a chance that sometimes another Pokemon would show up to help it. So you'd be battling 2 Pokemon at the same time. And the idea for SOS chaining is that you would continuously get rid of, or defeat one of the Pokemon without getting rid of the other, and that Pokemon would keep on calling for help. So more Pokemon would keep continuously coming in, and the more you do this, the more chance you have a shiny. And I believe if you get a chain of a certain number, you have a higher chance of a shiny. This is a fun method if you have the patience for it. Because sometimes, it takes a while for it to summon or call for help. There are some items to help it out, but it can be a fun method. But in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there was a new way for finding shinies, which is by using the Ultra Wormholes. And it's kind of like a little mini game where you go through a wormhole and you're you're moving your Pokemon that you're riding, trying to dodge orbs. Kind of like think of a Subway Surfer, kind of autonomous runner. You're trying to dodge things, and the further you get in this little mini game, you have a higher chance of finding a wormhole that has a shiny Pokemon in it, or one of the Ultra beasts in the game. So that's a fun way of getting a shiny. So the further you get in the wormhole, the higher the odds of getting a shiny. In Sword and Shield, all I can really remember for getting a shiny is, again, getting a chain by encountering the same Pokemon as many times as you can. Because in that game, there are random encounters, but there's also overworld Pokemon that you can actually run into. So I remember when the DLC came out, I really wanted a shiny Beldum, so I kept going. I kept running into Beldum, and I think I got a chain of over 300, and finally a shiny one showed up. So that's one way. Also, in one of the DLCs, they add like those raid battles you can do, and if you go through that, there's a real high chance of getting a shiny, and also maybe even a shiny legendary Pokemon, and that's in Sword and Shield. And something I've completely forgotten to mention, by the way, is that I forgot what generation. It could have been Generation 4 or 5, but Game Freak created an item to help boost your chances of getting a shiny Pokemon, and this is called the Shiny Charm. And usually, you get this when completing the Pokedex of a game. And I think the first time I ever did that was in Sun and Moon. I was able to complete the Pokedex, get the Shiny Charm, and use that. And that helps a lot. It really boosts your odds. And I did the same thing in I think Sword and Shield. I did the same thing in Legends Arceus. I think that might not have the Shiny Charm. I could be wrong. But I did the same thing in Scarlet and Violet. I got the Shiny Charm by completing the Pokedex, and it really helps with finding shiny Pokemon. And, of course, the latest games have used something called Outbreaks. And then you can increase your shiny odds by defeating Pokemon from these outbreaks. The more you defeat, the more chance of a shiny Pokemon. In Scarlet and Violet, you can also make sandwiches that can greatly increase your odds of a shiny. And this uses special ingredients, and it's so dumb. Honestly, it's a love-hate relationship with the sandwiches. The effects they do can be helpful. The process of making a sandwich is just abysmal, because the ingredients you're given just don't physically work, and it's like a stacking kind of game, and it's broken and it can be funny, but if you miss out on putting the ingredients on, it kind of ruins the whole thing, and you have to reset. But anyways, the sandwich method greatly increases your odds of a shiny. Greatly. It's crazy how many shinies you can get. But I have rambled on long enough about various methods, and I'm sure I forgot some. But my point is that it has gotten a lot easier over the years to get shiny Pokemon. But it is still a thrill to find them with a different color scheme. It's still a thrill to find shiny Pokemon. It really is. But my pet peeve, maybe it's not a pet peeve, it's something that irritates me a lot, is that a lot of Pokemon, or maybe some, I don't know, they don't have good shiny color schemes. Right? They're not good. The example I used earlier was Charizard, who's a very popular Pokemon, and he's an example of a good shiny. All right, it goes from like orange to black. Good transition, good change. A bad example would be Pikachu, also a fan favorite Pokemon. Mascot of the series, Pikachu. Normally, as you may notice, Pikachu has a yellow color. Yellow, it's nice, it's not bad. And you would think, okay, maybe a shiny would be, I don't know, blue or black. I don't know, purple. No, their shiny is a slightly darker yellow, not orange. Just a slightly darker shade of yellow. It's terrible. It's not a good shiny. All right. Sadly, though, this is not just a single case of a different. This is not the only Pikachu is not the only victim to this. There are a lot of Pokemon that just have a slightly different shade of color for their shiny Pokemon. And I was thinking about this the other day when we were streaming, where I was streaming Pokemon. Is I don't know who or what decides the color scheme of a shiny Pokemon. A friend of mine brought up that originally, it was not random, but they would use the scheme of the next Pokemon in the Pokedex, I believe, and so they didn't have to manually design shiny colors, but they would just use it from already existing Pokemon. I thought that was interesting, and sometimes you might get lucky, you might not get lucky with what your shiny is going to be. However, I feel like in recent years they could definitely choose what the shiny is going to be. So I am irritated that they don't go out of their way to make decent, or they don't go out of their way to make a big enough change in the shiny design. Like Pikachu, I think would greatly not appreciate, but I would appreciate if they change that shiny. I don't know if they can or will at this point. I think it might be too late, but I feel like some Pokemon definitely need that change of having a shiny. And that's not the only problem. Some Pokemon just, they just go bright green or bright pink. That's their shiny. It's kind of lazy. And some Pokemon have very unique, awesome color changes. It's really cool. I'm not trying to complain here. I know I definitely sound like I'm complaining. If I was listening, I would say, hey, you're complaining. But I just wish that more effort was put into certain shiny schemes or shiny designs, shiny variations. That's what I want. More effort to make it look unique and awesome. And not just, a slightly different color or, oh, gosh, what's the worst shinies I think are probably the Pokemon Violet Paradox Pokemon shinies. If you don't know what that is, I'm sorry you don't know. But basically, they're Pokemon that look like robots, and their shiny versions are their colors are taken away and they're just shiny. They're shiny, but they're just like silver. They have like a chrome silver, but they're all the same. They're all like that. They just take away their color and they're just silver. It's lame. Also, they have the worst names. They all have iron at the beginning of their name. It's just so lazy, and that I'm definitely complaining there. That's true. I'm definitely complaining there. I apologize, but seriously, Game Freak or someone I don't know who's behind it. Some guy named Chuck in the basement is laughing in his chair about the lame shiny Pokemon. Please just make them good. Like I don't know, Froakie, Greninja. If you don't know, Greninja's a good example. Well, Froakie. So Froakie goes from blue to lighter blue, but Greninja goes from like a dark blue to a dark black. Like it's really cool. That's a cool shiny. But some just like have a different shade, and it just does not look good. So please, like I appreciate it when it's like a completely like different or opposite color. I think it's beautiful that way. I've rambled on long enough about that. I apologize. All right. Oh man, gosh. What I want to also talk about shiny Pokemon is I really enjoy finding shiny Pokemon. I really do. It's kind of addicting. I used to do it a lot years ago. I just recently started doing it again, and it's really fun. Just finding a shiny. If you feel so like, I guess I could use the example. It's like gambling. All right. You put so much time and effort into these slot machines or whatever, and once you finally win, you feel like you've won everything, but then you want to keep going. Like you can't be satisfied. You just keep going. And that's how I am with shiny Pokemon. Is I can't stop. I have to keep going until I keep getting more and more. I can't be satisfied. But someone, I think I might have been convinced in one of my chats from a stream, is they want me to do something called a shiny dex, which is where you get a shiny for each Pokemon in the game. This is a daunting task, but I think it's doable. All right, it's going to take a long time. All right. So I believe in Pokemon Violet, there's 400 Pokemon in the main Pokedex. So I have to get a shiny for each of those. Now I might, it's like of course some Pokemon have like 3 evolutions. Or 2 evolutions. I might just get one of the original. Like for example, Charmander goes Charmeleon then Charizard. I'll just get a shiny Charmander and stop it there, even though I already have a shiny Charizard, so I don't have to go for that one. But that one's also not in the main Pokedex for Violet. Sorry. But the shiny dex is something I might be trying to do before Winds and Waves comes out. That's the next big Pokemon game is Winds and Waves, unless Game Freak decides to re-release, an older Game Boy Advance game again, like Fire Red, Leaf Green. We can get Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Come on, Game Freak, just put them on Switch Online. Just put them on Switch. Please, I'll pay for it. I'll do it. Sorry. Tangent again. Sorry. All right. Again, the shiny dex is something I'm willing to do before Winds and Waves comes out. But I also might not, because it really depends on time. It might take forever to find all those Pokemon shiny versions of them, at least. But I might try it. I think it's doable. Tons of people have done it before. I would not be the first, but it would be really fun, I think, to try to do that. All right. Some movies that I watched this week. One in mind. I watched it a few nights ago. It's not a new one. It's The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield. I loved this movie when it came out. Back in 2012, I believe, 2014, 2012. This was my very first midnight release movie. Back when they used to do that, nowadays they'll release it the day before, like in the evening, so you can just go then. But back in the old days, you had to, if you want to go see a new movie like day one or the day before, you had to go at midnight, a midnight showing release. And this was my first one, The Amazing Spider-Man. I love this movie, still do. I thought it was great. It was fantastic. It's so good. And over the years, I've rewatched it multiple times. I love it. I think it's still a good movie. It's still a great movie. When the movie first came out, I did not like his suit though. I did not like Andrew Garfield's suit in that movie. But as the years have gone on, honestly, I have really come around on that suit. I think in Spider-Man PS4 or the Spider-Man 2 PS5, I think you can use the movie suits, and I really like playing with that suit. But even before then, I've started to really appreciate that suit. It's just a unique design. I think it's a really good suit design. I think it's really cool. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit trumps it all the way. It's completely better. Probably the best suit in the entire all the movies. But I really, really enjoy the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit. I've grown to like it. Even the bottom, like the shoe part, it's okay. But I really enjoy that soup. Anyways, this movie, when I watched it the other night, I had to mute the movie almost every time Peter and Gwen were having a conversation because it was hard, honestly, to listen to their dialogue. I don't know why. I had never had really an issue with it before, I don't think, but it was cringeworthy. It was bad. I don't know what was going on there, but still overall it's a great movie, but their dialogue not good. Also, a lot of exposition dialogue in this movie, which is not, you have to, I guess, I don't know, but there's something that could have improved on this movie, but it's still, I think, a really good movie. I like it at least. Go watch my Spider-Man ranking video. It's in there. I think it's an A rank. It's a good movie. But that's really, I think, the only movie I've watched this week. Not in theaters. That was at home. But right now, I do want to transition into again. This is all this podcast episode, but I want to transition into a serious time here. We're going to take a look at a few Bible verses before we end off the episode today. Because I started this last week. I want to keep trying to do this each week. Who knows how that's going to go? But before we get into the verses, this past summer, I really wanted to get back into making content for YouTube and live streaming. And I want this to become a serious thing, like a career. I don't know how well it's going to go, but the problem is that it takes a lot of time and it doesn't generate income yet. All right, I'm a small creator, and I am nowhere near the quality of some other people, and I'm still trying to improve on that. But this is something I have dreamed of doing since I was in middle school. Since I was in middle school, I've tried to get into the YouTube. I've tried to get into that. And I really want to put more effort into making better content and better entertainment. That's my goal. That's my dream. That's my goal. That's something I really want to do. So now, the verses that I want to look at today are Matthew 6:33 and Proverbs 16:3. 2 verses, more than one, like last week. Let's read them both. Matthew 6:33 says this, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." And Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans." So both of these verses stood out to me because they both deal with having dreams or goals. I think a lot of people have some type of goal or dream that they want to achieve in life. I have a goal of wanting to make a career on YouTube. I want to entertain people. I want to be entertaining, and I want to, do this online. I want to do that. I really do. But the Bible here is saying that it's to seek the Lord first, above that. In Matthew, it says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness." What I take this to mean is that I need to prioritize my relationship with God before my dreams of entertaining people with videos and live gameplay. All right? Honestly, I have not been doing that for a while. I have not been improving or trying to have a relationship with God. It's not been well. All right? I have not put God first before everything in my life. I've kind of put him to the side. It's not a good thing. Part of me feels like I haven't. Part of me feels like I have to put one over the other. I have to put my dreams, my aspirations, my goals, or put God first. All right. Do I try to do this on my own? Do I try to create a career on YouTube on my own by putting that first, or do I put God first? But that isn't what Proverbs says. It says to commit to the Lord whatever you do. Whatever I do. That can be anything. All right? Whatever I choose or want to do, I can still commit to the Lord. That also includes being a content creator. All right? Creating entertaining content. I can commit to the Lord. All right? Again, I don't have to put one over the other. I could put God first and commit to him while trying to do this whole YouTube thing. While these verses are reassuring, though, and might make you believe that no matter what you will achieve, that you're going to achieve your dream, we still need to put God before our dreams. I still need to put God first. So I still need to work on that with my relationship with God. I need to start putting him first above everything, which I have not been doing. I have not been putting God first. That's something I need to work on. But I also want to try to achieve this goal, this dream of being a creator on YouTube. That's a dream. It's a goal. But to kind of transition from the Bible, though, sadly, well, not sadly, sorry, there's a transition here. YouTube has recently announced how they're going to change their partner program requirements. The only real change that I've noticed, again, this is all news to me, the only real change I've noticed is that they are almost doubling the requirements needed to be a partner. For example, originally, for YouTube creators, you would have to achieve 4,000 watch hours from viewers, which means you'd have to somehow, from all the views you get, they would have to accumulate up to 4,000 watch hours. So 4,000 hours of your content has to be watched by others. The updated version is now 8,000 hours. 8,000. It's over 8,000. No, sorry. Tried to do a joke there. But this might not seem like a big number or a big change, but it is to someone like me who is a small creator. At the moment, I don't have that many watch hours on YouTube. It's not a lot. It's over 1,000, but it's nowhere near 4,000. It's nowhere near 8,000. That's crazy. All right. So yeah, right now I'm getting closer to 4,000 to become a partner. But another requirement is I believe you also have to have 1,000 subscribers. I'm not near that at all. I'm nowhere near that. All right. So if I somehow want to become a partner before the update, which I believe is in February 2027, I need two things. I need to reach 1,000 subs, 1,000 subscribers, and I need to reach 4,000 watch hours accumulated total, all that together. So if you're listening to this, if you're listening right now, please click on that subscribe button and share this channel with others so they can click on it. Hopefully it's entertaining because, again, that's my dream. That's my goal, is to help entertain others online. And I'm doing that. Hopefully I can make good, fun content. Hopefully I can make fun streams that engage people. But most importantly is I want to put God first before all of that. And I need to remember that and hold myself to that and put him before everything, but also commit to the Lord whatever I do. And he will establish my plans. Hopefully, I'm not saying it's going to happen like magic, but I want to, no matter what, I want to commit to God before this. I want to put him above everything. That's really everything I wanted to talk about for this week. All right, we talked about Pokemon, talked about Splatoon Raiders a bit, talked about some Bible verses that hopefully are impactful and will hopefully help you out in case you have any dreams or aspirations. Remember to put God first above everything. All right. So thank you for tuning in to the Extra Slice podcast this week. Have you ever shiny hunted for Pokemon before? Do you have a favorite shiny design? Mine, I don't know if I have a favorite one, but I really like Umbreon. That's a cool Pokemon. It's also kind of a simple change. Only thing that changes tangent that I don't even be talking about right now. Please don't forget to wow, can't talk here. Wow, end of the podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please come back next week. Hopefully we can keep making more episodes. I am going to get back into work next week, so hopefully I can keep live streaming. Hopefully I can keep doing this podcast. I know it's not getting a lot of views. That's okay. All right. This podcast is a little bit of an outlet for me, but hopefully I can make it more engaging, more entertaining. But that's probably going to be in other content, such as live streams or other videos that I want to make. All right. So please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this with your friends. And thanks for listening to the Extra Slice podcast. And we will see you next week.